Some of you were at our conference in Beijing about design for new China markets 2 years ago, and have been at previous conferences here where Bruce does this magic act at the end of making connections that some of us saw and some of us didn't see, and amplifying others and reframing others, and then is going to turn it open to you for questions and comments as well. So please welcome Bruce Nussbaum.
Patrick. Actually, I think I'll just sit here and start a conversation if the lights aren't too bright in my eyes. And kind of ruminate a little bit about the events of the day. An amazing day. I go to a lot of conferences. I just love this conference. And if I ever get reborn on the next cycle, I want to be reborn as a student at the Institute of Design. It's just so cool. So cool. So anyhow, so I'll just talk for a little bit, then we'll open it up and we'll have a conversation, and then we'll go drink. How's that? Good? Okay. Excellent. To me, if there's any sort of overriding theme of the morning, of the day, it's the power of design thinking, methodology, strategy, to take us through very, very uncertain times. And for a long time now, I've been saying and certainly feeling that I live life in beta. I live life in constant beta. You know, it's change, and it's change that is never ending. Most of our history, and I remember our personal history and history writ large, is about episodic change, as John Seeley Brown said this morning. You have an event, you have some change, it's either incremental or it's something big, and then you have a period of time to adjust to it, and it becomes part of your life. And it's one or maybe two, or it's a small thing or several small things. Or there are periods of your life and in history where there's no change. No change for years, for decades, or no change for centuries. And our social structure begins to reflect that. Knowledge is passed down. There's hierarchy, there's structure that's built around either no change or a slow change or a little change or episodic change. But we're living in a period of constant change, and that is rare. Rare. And you talk to anyone and they're talking about, you know, their business model is melting down, their career is melting down, it's changing, it's morphing, it's shifting. And we're living through this. And I think that's one of the major themes of the day today. And design is a methodology to take us through this, of dealing with it, of being productive within this era of uncertainty. Now, personally, in the 90s, when I began writing about design, my real job, my day job, was that I was the editorial page editor of Business Week. I was in fact called the voice of authority. Okay? And I spent most of my working days in the morning in a room with people of my age, about 8 men, 3 women, talking about the various editorial positions we should have, making my decisions and writing about it, and it would be written, you know, out, editorial page, voice of authority. Today, we don't have an editorial page, and I am at most a team leader, a team participant most of the time. The people I work with all the time are 7 people. I'm the boomer, and we have 4 people who are in their 30s, early 30s, mid 30s. We're the ones who sort of launched the Innovation and Design channel about 2.5 years ago, which has been wildly successful and great transformational thing for me. And then we discovered that that wasn't enough because technology had changed a lot in 2 or 3 years, and the people who were in their 30s were feeling kind of left out. They were twittering. So we went out and we hired 2 other people who are in their mid to late 20s. And this is a team composed of, let's see, there's me, guy from New York. We have our youngest member is a 26-year-old woman from Canada. No, the youngest member is a 25-year-old guy. I think he's 25. Sort of French, American, kind of like that. Then there's Eiley, who's from Canada. The person who runs the Innovation and Design channel, Helen Walters, is a Brit. It goes on like that. And we're not even going to go near sexual preference, right? It's really a mashup. It's very different. My work day is different. The people I associate is different. It's not this. It's kind of, well, it's interesting. It's not that. It's kind of this. And I have to say, you know, I'm learning more than I'm teaching. What I'm teaching is a very high level of how to deal with bureaucracy and stuff like that. And they're showing me what's happening in design thinking, and the technologies that are involved in it. It is transformational. And I kind of love it. But I got to tell you, there are a lot of folks at Business Week in McGraw Hill who are very upset about this kind of change. There's a discussion about, you know, the end of journalism and the end of journalists, and it's parallel some of the discussion that happened here. You know, journalists are the gatekeepers. You know, we have certain training, and the whole idea of people running around with cameras and the democratization of journalism, which is a big deal. Jeff Jarvis at Buzz Machine is really talking about it, has really split the field, you know? How could the average person, how could you have citizen journalism? You know, they're not trained, what, you know, blah, 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 all that sort of thing. To me, it's a terrific addition. I'm an open source kind of guy. But for a lot of people, it's a huge threat. It's a terrible threat. I was talking to Claudia Kachka 2 weeks ago at the Art Center conference. My other favorite conference is the one that Chief Perlman puts on at Art Center. This year it was Serious Play. Last year it was Radical Craft. And let's loop back a little bit in our conversation to the whole idea of democratization of design and tool making and craft, because I think that is a hugely powerful movement here, a terrific movement. But I was talking to Claudia, and she was saying, you know, Bruce, you know, there are all kinds of changes going on at P&G, where we've got 40 or 50 workshops going to change the culture. It's a mammoth effort. It's really exciting. But the thing that's really driving us crazy, the one thing that's really driving us crazy, are the Gen Xers. You know, this whole generation of people are really different. You know, they move differently, they organize differently, they have a different culture, and they're driving us nuts. And it's terrific. Wow, they're showing us the future. And she was both, you know, hot and cold. It was great. It was a little bit of a threat. But Claudia being Claudia, she was embracing it. And I think, you know, as we were talking, I was looking at her and thinking the same thing is happening at Business Week, the same thing is happening in every institution. But what I took away from my little comments with her and my own experience at Business Week, let me just give you a quick little story. Some of you may have seen this great photo of, right? He's not sleeping. He's contemplating the future, right? This was a piece we did in the very first issue of Inside Innovation, which we launched about 1.5 years ago. It's a magazine within a magazine focusing on innovation, design methodology, which really, you know the story, right? There are a lot of CEOs who are very uncomfortable with the word design. They think it's something that their wives do and involves drapes. So they're more comfortable with the concept of innovation because it implies metrics and implies measurement, and it has a semi-military, you know, connotation to it. So I use innovation whenever I'm in an audience that's comfortable. I actually prefer to use the term design strategy or thinking or methodology. At any rate, so we launched Inside Innovation, and I wanted to do a piece on Patrick, because he's one of my heroes, and the Institute of Design. And to launch the new magazine, we had to design it. You know, I wanted it to look very different from business.